recording? If your phone rings, that's okay.
No, it's okay. I'm good. Hey, guy.
What's up, buddy? Hold on. I gotta. Yeah. Gotta
How we doing?
keep this thing on my face. I'm good, man. We are busy, right? Like, I feel like I'm writing a ton of
Yeah.
pre-approvals.
Yeah.
Right? Putting out, getting a good amount of TBDs going. I will say that probably one of my struggles right now that I've really never had is that there seems to be an abundance of hesitation in people buying homes.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they're so afraid of the next step, And just navigating that with them on, like, yeah, you can't strong arm them. Yeah, I mean, there's some personality types you can, right? Where you're just like, look, like, have a big boy, put on your big boy pants and giddy up. But it is such a blend for me, my sample. Unqualified people, low qualified people, credit challenges, credit history, no money in the bank, and it's like you're deep in the weeds trying to navigate that stuff with them, and then even if they are qualified, either way, very hesitant.
Yeah. Yeah. I will tell you that in 22 years, as of March, that sentiment has never been more real and prevalent than it has been over the last, year, specifically 6 months. I think it's the combination of market factors, home values remaining high, mortgage rates having gone up last year, and then just the demographic specifically to young buyers where they don't interact with people as well as I'm an old dinosaur. You're not quite there yet. But so when it comes down to buying a home and they need guidance or this, they get excited and then they realize what's involved and then they panic. And I mean, I'm seeing a lot of people will have an initial phone call and you kind of get them through and say, all right, great, here, upload this, upload that. And then all of a sudden it's like 2 weeks go by and you haven't seen anything.
Yeah.
And it's like, did I say something wrong? Did I offend you? And I think the conclusion I'm coming to is no. They just now have to actually do something and they panic like, am I right? Am I wrong? And that's hard. You're trying to navigate because, like I said, you can go tough guy approach and try to, strong arm them in there, but then you don't really have a relationship. So what's the right balance? But it's getting people to the point where they're moving forward. That is the challenge.
So tell me this though, like, right, safe to say, you've got a pretty diverse client base, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You do, your jumbos, your high value clients, and you probably don't get enough credit for that. You're still in the weeds, first time home buyers and that type of stuff, right? And
Sure.
You and I get to talk a lot about it because we're here. But like, is there a difference between, hey, we're relocating or, we're whatever down, I'm on my fifth house. I'm looking at a $2 million home.
Yeah.
I've got $300,000, $400,000 of salary. My spouse has 200-300. Hot. I'm looking for here, right. A first time home buyer here is looking, 250, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like that's kind of your
Sure.
that's about the bottom of starting, right?
Yeah.
Unless you get real rural, but like, is the hesitancy is that the same?
A good question. No. Just today, let's say, for example, I had a past client that called me, hey, we're going to be in South Carolina looking at places. Can you send me the pre-approval letter? Sure. No problem. Again, well-qualified past client. He used to work with my younger brother and then is a client of my twin brother that does financial planning. And I worked with him before, so there's depth of relationship. But it was a $2 million purchase with $500,000 down, and the guy's really well-to-do. No questions. Hey, great, here's your letter. Good luck this week and call me. And then another phone call came in today. A girl that I got introduced to she was a step up buyer, but she's getting into her second home.
Okay.
Local here in Tennessee, and after I kind of walked her through, that's going to be a really tight approval. It's like she went radio silent because she was told no, you can't eat candy at every meal, and so all of a sudden out of nowhere, because it went like 2-3 weeks with nothing. Well, I saw that she sold her place, so obviously she's doing something. I finally got an email from her. Hey, what's the lowest rate you can get on this today? And so I think the challenge is when...
Told her she couldn't have any candy at all of her meals, and then she came back 3 weeks later shopping it.
Yeah. Well, and I think the reality for the difference between the two is trust. There was a trust with the guy, and it didn't quite matter that he was $2 million. It was that he was a past client, and there was a depth to the relationship. Whereas with this gal, first interaction was, hey, what do you qualify for? It's going to be a little bit tough, but we do this, and we can get there. And it's like nobody's told her no. Again, just a difference, but a lot more of that. I only want to interact with you when I need you, and I only want you to tell me what I'd like to hear.
Yeah, no, that's wild. I feel like I'm getting a lot of, so same, right? I've got some past clients, right? They're doing some stuff. They call me, and I think this is a great time, to your point, right? And I've taken definitely some pointers from you on this over the years of just how to maintain and manage my past clients, right? I use your PCC, right? I mean, that's literally how I put it in. I've got my our CRM, right? I mean, I've just got it programmed in there automatically to where now it's just every 6 months, so it's auto tasking those phone calls, so I don't have to reset a new task every time. So I stay very diligent with that stuff, and the past clients, there's more trust in me, right? So that's definitely there. How are you, like, I'm still getting past clients though that are distrustful, distrusting, let's use that, distrusting in the market about like making a move, a relocation, having some wants, but not necessarily some needs, or some wants are transitioning to needs. It's the I want to be by my grandkid, but they also feel like this familial, I need to be closer to my family type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you help them, right? Because it's like throwing a bunch of numbers at people tends, for unless they're that right type of person, that's not going to hit home.
Yeah.
Like, how do you help that person who's caught up in the narrative of the market and the media and the housing, kind of that view? How do you help them? Like, what are you saying to them? Because I'm finding there's some struggle there.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And I think more than ever, people are paying attention to just what you see on social media. Again, I'm 48. When I bought my first home, there wasn't social media. Right. I barely watched the news, let alone read a newspaper. I can just tell you that when my wife was sick and tired of living in an apartment, we were looking to buy a house.
Yeah.
Okay? And these days, when people are looking to do something like that, they're instantly thinking, well, is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? Should I do this? I don't like it as much, and I'll tell you why. I do think that ultimately life needs to be the primary indicator of your moving. Mm-hmm. If I have a guy right now who has a 3-bedroom home with a wife and 3 young kids, and he can't get past himself. Last summer, so coming up on a year now, he had an ideal home that it's the guy he wants to win the deal, that missed a house by $5,000, and the agent's like, hey, you know what, I can get this done if we go up $5,000. He's like, well, no, I think they'll come back and take it.
In perspective, $30 a month
for sure.
$5,000 to the seller
for sure.
$30
for
a
sure.
month to the buyer.
Yeah, for sure. Because again, this guy was like, hey, in his mind, it was the deal, and so he lost it. Hasn't moved since. And, even to this day, the guy will text me back, where are rates? And in my head, I'm like, you're asking the wrong question. Rates are where they are. If rates were 5%, the house that you think you might be looking at for you and your family might be cheaper, but is that the house for you and your family? Is the right question to ask. Right. You got to make sure you're comfortable with the payment. And that's where the thing is, people will qualify, but, they're too focused on these random things that somehow or another they read an article or some uncle or colleague of theirs told them this, and now all of a sudden that person's more of an expert than you or I.
Yeah. It happens a lot. People are just going to call you instead of calling me, basically, because I just kind of steal everything you do. Right. But since I started doing this, I mean, you've always been good about that with me. I think you're good about that with most people. But, you were talking, I think you had shared it actually with the whole company, but you and I had a conversation a couple years back, and when rates started to kind of climb, and you're like, look, it's not about interest rates. It's not about, and it's kind of what you were just getting to, but it's not about interest rates. It's not about the price of the home. It's about, does the house meet the needs of your family?
Yeah.
And does the payment fit into your budget?
Yeah.
And if both of those things are good, none of the other details matter as long as you qualify for that home.
That's right.
Because time in the market versus timing the market is always going to win out.
Amen.
Right. So it's like, I just had, I had this girl give me a call back the other day, just not a past client. It was a contact. And, young girl recently graduated from college, and we had a conversation not quite a year ago, maybe about a year ago. And based on where she was at with her income, just going on the conversation of, can you buy a home that meets your needs and can it fit into your budget? And the true answer was that she couldn't. Not because she had some unrealistic idea. There's plenty of, young people that have this unrealistic idea of what a home should be. They're trying to buy their forever home fresh out of college.
Yeah.
This girl wasn't. She was just in a smaller town. She didn't have an okay salary, but not a great salary. You know what I mean? And she knew that. I'm not saying anything she doesn't know.
Yeah.
But the conversation literally led to her going, hey, I think I need to wait. And we talked about that, hey, you're not going to outsave the growing cost of the market. And she's like, no, I agree. I think, I've got some opportunities. I really need to evaluate my job, my income, everything. She calls me, we stay in touch, and she's like, hey, I'm feeling in a better place. I've gotten a raise. Here's my new income. Mm-hmm. And this wasn't big. This was we went from probably $150,000 as maybe what she could really afford to spend, right? And have it fit in her budget, but then also, and there just wasn't much in her area that really she could buy. And now that number's 225, and she's ecstatic.
Yeah.
She's like, this is such a better conversation. Like, she didn't sit around waiting for homes to get cheaper.
Yeah.
She went out and found the ability to earn more income.
Yeah.
Right? Took a couple promotions, upped her salary. She's in our, she's off and running full, get committed.
Well, and what I love is you took the time to have a conversation with her. You took the time to listen to her, and you weren't trying to force a decision upon her. You're like, here's the facts. Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm going to wait. And then the job well done for you is I didn't leave her out there waiting for her to call me back.
Right.
You followed up. You did this. That's what's amazing to me when, again, people, look at like a Rocket Mortgage or whatever. Those people are really actually trying to force you to a decision. Mm-hmm. I want you to do this transaction.
Selling you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Had a client, again, earlier this week, was Rocket had given him a really, really low rate. And I'm like, there's just no way that doesn't come with costs. Go ahead and get the LE. Let's put it next to each other. And the person actually said, I'm not going to send that to you until you lock in and we're already in motion. And I said, that's probably why they won't send it to you, because it's ugly. But you have to realize that these are people, and you're trying to help.
Rocket actually told them they wouldn't send the LE until?
That's right. So I'm not going to send you a loan estimate. I'm not going to tell you what the costs are. But, I'm going to quote you this rate. It's just like saying, hey, I can get you 4%. Okay, well, it's 2 arms, 1 leg, and your first 7 children that you have, that's the cost of it. Mm-hmm.
You can buy any rate you want.
Yeah, that's right. And so, but my point would just be, had no real care
Right.
for what you, and